Welcome to episode 113 of Drew's Sports Crew here on this Sunday night. Myself, Drew Skyberg, bringing you yet again another episode, right? Discussing Wisconsin sports. Right. And this week we have two key topics today, right? As you see in the title, Mike Budenholzer will lead us off here. He'll get us started. And then the last thing we'll be discussing is Brewers updates, right? Both, with Budenholzer, right? We got to talk about what's going on, why the firing, what's next for the Milwaukee Bucks. That's kind of what I want to focus on, the what's next more importantly, right? Who are some candidates we could see potentially coaching the Milwaukee Bucks next season? I'm going to try to answer that question. And then we will go right away to the Milwaukee Brewers. We'll talk about how this ugly road trip went on the West Coast, right? It was ugly, not good, terrible. You could say a lot of things to describe it, but we'll touch on that. We'll look instead. I'd rather look forward to on that. Look at what's going on this upcoming week. I will be at the game tomorrow, May 8th, the night. I'll be in the Johnsonville party deck. So, for those who don't know, I will be working at Johnsonville this summer as well. So it'll be a fun experience, right? I'll be in the finance accounting team, but also, right, I'll be enjoying some Johnsonville brats tomorrow night in the party deck. So I'm looking forward to that opportunity. All right, let's get going here. I'll touch on the announcements here near the end. Well, let's touch on them now. Actually, better to get them down here, and then we'll go into what's going on with the Milwaukee Bucks. Okay, so looking at recording wise this week, you're listening right now, episode 113. Again, this is being recorded tonight, Sunday night. Then we go tomorrow. We got nothing on Monday, of course. But we go Tuesday. Right, we've been recording these on Sunday day or Monday, is what I'm saying. Tuesday night, 4:15, the usual Journey to a Million time. Myself, Drew Skyberg, joined alongside Zach Rouse, Jared Valesky. We'll be there talking football, playing games, having a good time. Feel free to join us. Always great to have guests. So that'll be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. There will be no episode, but Friday, I got you covered with some MLB DFS, right? I'm sticking to that 3-episode schedule this week. And then just keep in mind, won't be next week, but the week after, I'll have some college athlete spotlight stuff coming out. I'm going to have a club volleyball athlete on, talking that. And I'll have some episodes, right? I'll talk more scheduling next week and the following week when we get there. Just want to keep you all posted on that recording wise. And then also with the WIA, like EWC, right? High school sports, Eastern Wisconsin Conference. Regarding the spring sports, we're moving into playoffs shortly here in a few weeks. When I say in the following week, I'll keep you posted on the schedule. Monday episode is going to feature a lot of, right, what's going on there, whether it's the girls' soccer, softball, baseball, track, or golf. Don't worry, I got you covered playoff-wise. I'm going to keep everyone posted what's going on in the playoffs, end of regular season, conference accolades, all that good stuff. Keep you posted on that. Okay, that's enough announcements, right? The 3 episodes this week, and then moving forward, I'll keep you posted next week. I got you covered. Let's go to the Milwaukee Bucks. All right. Budenholzer, was it a surprise? So a few days ago, right, the news, Mike Budenholzer getting fired, right, parting ways. He had 2 years left on his contract, worth $16 million. The question is, why the firing? And right after a 58-win season, why was he fired, right? And I think the answer that I'd have, and that many would also have, is it felt, that Budenholzer was one of the best before game planners in the NBA, right? I mean, the way he was able to plan, right, strategize before games, I think that was something, right? Many looked at Budenholzer and said he was one of the best, maybe in all basketball. And I would have to agree. I think what Budenholzer was able to do by a game basis for prep. I mean, that's how you get wins in the NBA, like consistent like that. Those consistent 50 plus win seasons. That doesn't happen just, coming into games and just hoping for some wins with a great team. I mean, there's a lot of that goes behind that, right? And Budenholzer being one of the best in all the business has to have been recognized. But what we've seen in these playoff series in the Miami Heat have, we think the last few years, think 2020, think bubble, right? They were able to really felt like exploit the Bucks. And, you know, part of it felt Budenholzer lack of in-game adjustments is something you'll hear from many on why he was fired, right? Not moving, just not making adjustments, um, not changing, right? Whether it's the strategy off defensively, allowing all those threes, right? We've seen that be an issue for the Bucks. I just more thinking more of the Heat series, right? Not being able to defend the three or giving up that many threes, um, not ideal. Or right, I mean, Bucks not calling timeouts, right? I mean, timeouts in the end of games where, right, I mean, really in Game 5, that might have been the nail in the coffin, right? If Bucks win this series, and maybe have a next round exit, is he fired? I don't know. I think a big reason why was right coming down to what we saw in that last game for Mike Budenholzer, lack of time, like not calling those timeouts. Um, this whole series, Giannis not guarding Jimmy Butler really at all, like in matchups, right? Limited matchups on Butler, disappointing, right? It would be a word I would describe how you feel as a Bucks fan when you know you let a guy, right? We talked about this last week, the week prior, letting just one guy beat you, especially in a playoff game, is just so demoralizing for a team, and really frustrating for the fans, right? But again, the numbers, like the defensive rating numbers, were there for the Bucks, and the offensive rating, like they put together in the regular season, great numbers, but come to playoffs, now it's like okay, ended up cooling off a little bit. That's where unfortunate situation, but Budenholzer has to go after right the playoff meltdown. Right after playoff meltdown like this again, I believe it was the fourth worst upset, if, in a first round playoff series or in the whole NBA playoffs ever, maybe since the '90s something. It's been the point is it's been one of the worst. But what we also need to recognize too is right how do you move forward with the Bucks, right? And this was the move that they felt was necessary. John Horst, um, thinking this is necessary and move right. I think it's the right move, right? Good change of scenery for both teams. I'm worried more about kind of who they bring in next, as I talked about, but how it also impacts the player personnel, right? A guy like Brook Lopez, I don't know how many systems he fits in at this point in his career, as well as he did fit in Mike Budenholzer's system. Think about what he was able to do defensively and what his system allowed, right? I mean, allowing all those threes is a part of the Mike Budenholzer defense, right? And really leaves a part for Brook Lopez to allow him to protect the paint, right? Allows him for a lot of shot contests and blocks. But now, if we look right, a guy who Bucks have potentially been linked to, Mike D'Antoni, he doesn't fit. I don't think Brook Lopez fits that system, right? I mean, you're talking run and gun offense, getting up threes like no tomorrow. Think about that Houston team a few years ago. Um, we're not going to see that. I don't think. I don't think D'Antoni's the guy in Milwaukee, but it brings question. What guy they're going to bring in, and the first guy who came to my mind was Nick Nurse, right? Nick Nurse just got let go from the Toronto Raptors. He knows the Milwaukee Bucks in a way. Right, they missed Toronto underachieving last few years, so it felt he was going to get fired. Nurse likes to get on referees a lot. We know him as. We also know him as a guy which I don't at this point. I don't know what the Bucks would think of this, but Nurse plays his starters a lot. Like we're talking even regular season games, like 40 plus minutes. Like he plays his players a lot. Not like in terms of the load management that we saw from Coach Bud. And sure, there could be some influence from the front office on that. But, Nick Nurse is a guy who personally might be on the top of my list right now to get as the next coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. I would not want Frank Vogel. I think Frank Vogel, nothing against him, but right, I mean, he has the championship with the Lakers in the bubble. Well respected coach in the industry. It just, looking at what happened at the end of there with the Lakers, no, it's a no for me. Um, but then right, D'Antoni. I want to bring up Becky Hammon. Becky Hammon was one who was actually interviewed for the job before Coach Bud got it 5 years ago, right? And now she's with the Las Vegas Aces. She's been linked to some NBA teams, and it'd be intriguing to see if Becky Hammon gets this spot. She was in the interviews last time. I wouldn't be surprised if she got the spot. So I'd keep her in mind. I don't think D'Antoni still gets it. I think at his age, was he 72, 73? Monitoring that. We have to talk about also with the Milwaukee Bucks, right? Charles Lee is a guy who's a finalist for the job in Detroit. And when I say that, it's, if he gets that job in Detroit, he could. I mean, he certainly could. But if he doesn't, right, that could lead to some sort of internal, right, promotion and just handle the search internally. Do I think that's gonna happen? It could. Charles Lee's on the top of my list too. I mean, I think for me it's like Nurse number one, Charles Lee number two. Um, who else? Right? I think Becky Hammon is probably three. But those are the main three I'd be looking at. Right? And the other thing is that I want to also monitor from Milwaukee is think about the teams that are left right now. Right? There are eight teams left right now. If Denver blows a 3-1 lead, or not a 3-1 lead, they're not up 3-1. But my point is, if Denver blows a lead in the series, right, you think Mike Malone's safe. You do. But just monitoring like a situation like that, Darvin Ham's for sure safe, I feel, after a season. Just how so far they've done in the playoffs. But you just got to monitor, like Monty Williams, is he safe after this? Who knows, right? But I think that those three right now are the guys I'm looking at, or the people I'm looking at, right? It's gonna be Nurse number one, then Charles Lee, potentially at two, and then Becky Hammon at three. I do think Nurse honestly might be the best fit with how, right, we've seen him coach those teams in Toronto, but that's kind of where I'm at with Milwaukee. We'll be monitoring this more, right? Those three, and then I'm waiting, of course, to see if one of those eight coaches, maybe two, if any of them lose their jobs, right? That could be instant for Milwaukee. Obviously, Giannis, right? I mean, the guys are going to have, players are going to have a say on this as well, I feel. So we're going to monitor that. And I'm just questioning, or I'm hoping they make a choice on the coach who will still allow players like Brook Lopez, for example, to thrive in a system. Obviously, this Giannis is going to thrive in a system because, right? I mean, the system better be built around Giannis if they're building a system. It's just a matter of if those key role guys who we've seen in years past, if they're going to still flourish in spots that they've flourished under a Mike Budenholzer system, is what I think is a key to monitor. But we'll keep posted. We'll keep it posted. We're waiting on the offseason now. And my NBA power rankings are still coming out. I promise you that at Drew Sports Crew. I'll have the next set out on Tuesday with the playoffs. So check those out. Let's go to the world of baseball. The Milwaukee Brewers. What did they do this week? They disappointed us. Sorry, that's what happened. I don't want to sugarcoat it anymore, but they disappointed us this past week. What we saw was, right, a West Coast trip where you're feeling good. I said 3-3. I wasn't feeling great. I was feeling like, okay, this is a tough West Coast trip. Brewers don't really play well in San Francisco, don't really play well in Coors. 3-3 was my prediction. They go 1-5. They win, thankfully, Sunday. But I mean, it was the offense. You score a total of, listen to this, 9 runs in 3 games at Coors. That's not enough, right? Although they scored 6 in the last one, they give up 9. My point is, 2 runs Tuesday, 1 run Wednesday, 6 runs Thursday. That was the game the bullpen blew it, right? I feel for Peter Strzelecki. He's been all reliable this year. It felt like an outie, not really just, is an ERA corrector is what I call it, where you start great and then there's that one outie for reliever, 1 inning, 6 runs, corrects the ERA right away. Goes, to like 2 or 3. If it was like point something, 0.5, whatever. Anyways, unfortunate in that series. I don't even know if I want to talk about that series because, right, Freddie Peralta pitches great Tuesday. I got to talk about it. He pitches well in Coors as he always does. Then Eric Lauer starts Wednesday, who is one of the worst ERAs out of all qualified starting pitchers at Coors Field in its history. He doesn't do well in Coors. Shocker. And then Thursday, right, was where bullpen blows it game. We did have some home runs. Yelich and Tellez go deep. Love to see that. Friday game, they lose 6-4. And that one, there's like a rain delay going on. That game was just, right, in the West Coast series, rain delay, game starts late, Burns pitches. Shocker, Brewers can't hit the lefty. Yeah. Sean Manaea pitches. He gets the win. I mean, they get a couple runs at him early, but it was like, okay, Brewers give up home runs. Right, and then there's just some tough stuff going on. Brewers have an error in this one too. Not a great Friday game. Saturday was something too, right? Just 1-4, nothing going our way again. They had a comeback going in the 9th, right? Yelich hits a ball off Camilo Duvall, almost gets to it, but a Tyro Estrada home run was a 2-run home run, tough. Then Tyson Miller, who's now optioned, gives up that home run to make it 4-1. And he was optioned for the guy today who we'll talk about. We'll talk about the win today. I think it's a better way to talk about. Adrian Hauser comes up. Was like, oh no, Hauser's, not that it's bad Hauser's back, but it was like, oh no, right? The depth, we're getting low on the depth chart for pitching. Hauser ended up, his return looked good, but the oh no that I had really just comes from in this one. Brewers haven't had consistent starters, right? I'm glad Hauser's back. I'm glad he pitched well. I was worried about how he do in his return. But they get to Stripling. The home runs, right? William Contreras hits one. Love to see that. Willie Adames hits one. Also love to see that. So Adames is the 100th home run. Also, I should add. But Brewers win this one on Sunday. And it was a good game for Milwaukee to win. A needed win for Milwaukee, I should say. But then we have, I guess, going through standings. Let's talk standings, and then I'll talk about next week what's going on. So right now in the NL Central, we are seeing Pittsburgh's on a 7-game losing streak. Right, I'm going to tell you something crazy. Milwaukee is half game back of first, but yet they have won one of their last 7 games. You love to see it. Right, I mean, so it goes Pittsburgh 20-15, 20-15, Milwaukee 19-15, Chicago 17-17, Cincinnati 14-20, St. Louis 11-24. So St. Louis finally gets a win. Like, right when we say finally, it's been a long time. They're on a what? How many games did they lose in a row? A lot. Is all we need to say. They are 11-24. They're 9 games back of first. They're 8.5 back of the Brewer Crew. Love to see that. And now the Brewers, it's the run differential's plus 17. Not great. Cubs' run differential is actually plus 46. If you look at with that, their expected win-loss is 22-12. But again, who cares about expected run differential or win-loss implied by run differential? Doesn't matter. Anyways, for Milwaukee, we're in a good spot, right? The Brewers are in in a spot that'll allow them, right, with the schedule. I mean, they've had a fairly tough schedule if you think about the opponents they've had. They haven't had like the gimmies yet. And when I say gimmies, I'll go to the schedule and I'll explain what the gimmies are. There's some gimmies coming this week. And, in Coors, the Rockies in Coors Field should have been a gimme, but Rockies are a better home team than on the road. So you get the Royals for 3 later this week. You get Cardinals for 3 the week after. This whole month, you really don't get the gimmies. It comes in June. June, you get the Reds. You get like Reds, Athletics, Pirates. Teams who you should be able to beat. But really, in this month, it's tough. You go from Rays to Astros later in May. You have the Giants for 4. Always a frustrating team to play, it feels. You got Houston for 3 also, and then you go to Toronto. Not ideal, but let's talk about this week. The Dodgers and Brewers square off 3-game series, and it's 6:40 on Monday, 6:40 on Tuesday, 12:40 on Wednesday. Then on Friday, okay, off day Thursday. Friday, we go to Apple TV. We're on Apple TV Plus. Yes, I know. A lot of people might boo that, but it's an okay broadcast. Honestly, I think the layout's the best part of it. I think I'm 100% right on this too. Layout's right. It's good. I do think an issue with what we see is the commentators not knowing the teams, right? I know they're national broadcasters. I understand that, but the amount of times for at least the Brewers, right, smaller market team, you'll have names mispronounced. You'll have players' backstories falsely labeled, falsely made it, right? And just some things, it's like, no, this guy was not acquired by this team. He was acquired in this trade. There's something with Luis Arias a few years back, Eric Lauer as well, and just in that trade. So monitoring that is going to be something we're going to want to see how the broadcast is. Hopefully it's better than last year, but honestly, presentation's not bad. It's just execution by the broadcast team. I'll be at the game Monday. I might be at the game Friday. Might be at it. Then I actually get to avoid watching the broadcast. I'll have to ask you all how it was. So I'm gonna monitor that. That's 7:10. 6:10 on Saturday. It's Star Wars night. You get a special package. You get a Bob Uecker Skywalker bobblehead. Honestly, pretty cool. Probably one. It's okay. I'm not a Star Wars guy, so it won't be getting it for myself. But at the Mother's Day promotion, I thought it was like it was something this year. I don't remember what it was though. Let me pull it up right now. It is a wristlet. I thought it was a wristlet. So yeah, first 10,000 fans. So keep that in mind if you're going at the game on Sunday. And also, of course, they have the Sunday Fun Day bundle. Might want to just do that. I was telling people, just do it if you want to go. Doesn't have to be just you and 3 friends, right? 4 terrace outfield tickets, 4 junior hot dogs, 4 junior sodas, 1 general parking pass. Parking pass at the stadium itself is $15, right? Or is it on Saturdays? General might be 20. It's right there, $20 tickets. If you think $10 each, just do the math right there. Excellent value. It doesn't include hot dogs and sodas. So, I'm telling you that's a real deal. So I would check that out. I did want to bring up trivia here. Who do you think is the Brewers' leading player in WAR so far this year? Any guesses from anyone? I'll tell you who it is. It is, again, William Contreras. William Contreras leads this team in WAR. Does that surprise you? I guess if you think about the position advantage you get for catcher, his OPS plus is 107 at the catcher spot. Defense has been really good. No, it doesn't surprise me. But the fact that he ended up moving there to number 1, it kind of surprised me. So just monitoring that. Wade Miley's number 2. I think that's something with a 1 WAR. Right, seeing that. And then Christian Yelich 0.7 with Willie Adames. Garrett Mitchell's at 0.7. We're hoping we get Woodruff back soon. Right, that's kind of what we're looking for. But we're just waiting on that. Injury-wise, it sounds like Mitchell, unfortunately, is going to be out for the rest of the year. That was something I was monitoring. The shoulder surgery ended up being successful, but rest of the year, right, it seemed pretty severe. It was a torn labrum. Like I didn't think we were getting Mitchell back after hearing kind of the diagnosis, but really rooting for him, hoping for a big year next year from Garrett Mitchell. So the Brewer season prediction challenge, you might be wondering, what am I predicting? Looking at starts wise, we're probably going to get Burns for only a start this week. Might get Peralta for 2. Peralta and Lauer might be going for 2. I like that. And I like the Brewers this week against the Royals. I think it's going to be a really good spot. Look, LA's been playing hot. They were Team of the Week last week. Right on at your sports for social media, you'll see the Team of the Week. Even on YouTube Shorts, Drew's Sports Crew, you'll see it. Dodgers were Team of the Week last week. They've been playing well, swinging a hot bat. So, highlighting that, I got Brewers going 4-2. I do think the Brewers sweep the Royals. Look, we haven't gotten a lot of sweeps. We got that sweep against the Mets earlier in the year. Let's get a sweep Friday through Sunday. But then I'm monitoring, right, the Freddie Peralta game. We're not exactly sure where he's slated to pitch right now because of how the the rotation itself has gotten shaken up. Right, we've seen, of course, Hauser pitching today kind of throws off the probable pitchers, but monitoring what we're kind of looking at tomorrow, it looks like we have Freddie Peralta tomorrow. So, and again, I'll be at the game. So Brewers winning tomorrow. I do think they drop the next 2 against LA. I do have them sweeping the Royals, meaning a 4-2 week in week 7 of Milwaukee Brewers baseball is what I have. So that's where I'm at this upcoming week, 4-2. Right, we'll take that week. Had them 3-3 last week. Hoping for a 4-2 this week. I think it's a good spot in the prediction. But that's all I got here. Right, Brewers are going to go 4-2 this week. The Bucks are hiring Nick Nurse. Those are the 2 takeaways tonight. But again, I want to thank you all here for listening. I'll be back Tuesday, 4:15 with Zach Rouse, Jared Valeski for an episode of Journey to Million. You bet. And then remember, I'll be keeping post on the schedule, right? Some college athlete stuff coming in. I'll have some EWC sports playoff content coming in. So keep all of that in mind at Drew Sports Crew, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Drew Sports Crew on YouTube for all of that engaging, fun content you can comment on. Let me know what you think on it, right? That's going to wrap it up here for myself, Drew Skyberg, here on this Sunday night. Thank you all for listening to another episode of Drew Sports Crew, the perfect podcast for you.